So Diane, thank you very much for making time to share your views onto the future of leadership. But before we go into leadership, can you tell us where are you from? Where did you grow up?
Such a pleasure, Nick. I grew up in Linmeyer, a gorgeous, sleepy suburb in the south of Johannesburg, overlooking the Klip-Riversberg mountain range.
Yes, and
Linmeyer.
And what was your dream career as you grew up?
So, probably like most young children, I potentially wanted to be a singer as a very little girl, and then that moved from that to an air hostess, and maybe that was the beginning of my love for travel, seeing more of the world, being exposed to bigger things from a very early age. And then as time went on, I wanted to be a newsreader on television. Again, I suppose always had a yearning to be at the forefront of what was happening in the world.
Right. And who or what inspired you to reach for the stars?
You probably heard this before, but my mum, achieved incredible success from very little beginnings. And then I think the realization that it really is up to you and that nothing should stop you, and you cannot rely on anything or anyone to hand anything to you. And so with what you have and the belief in yourself, it's up to you to go and get and achieve all that you can in life.
So was there a turning point in your career?
Through my career, and I entered my career into the recruitment world and was given the chance and became exposed to the call center industry in the early 2000s when it was really just starting to burgeon in South Africa. And I believe that is where I was first exposed to technology and understanding what it could actually mean and the role it could play in our lives. And through that, the world really changed for me. The fact that you could be sitting in Johannesburg, the center could be in Cape Town,
right,
and understand that an aircraft was being loaded here at Johannesburg International Airport, as it was in those days. It's now Tambo. But the loading was actually taking place and being managed in Europe. And so that sort of got me into the space of wanting to do more in that world. Through that, I took it upon myself, and with my company's blessing at the time, to get more involved. And so I started working with the Department of Trade and Industry to position South Africa as an offshore destination for contact centers to set up here, primarily to create jobs for South Africans, which has always been a passion of mine. We would never be as cheap as the likes of an India and so on, but definitely we had a value proposition, and over the years, up until present, I think great success has been achieved in that space.
And are you still in BPO today?
Yes, I am actually. Through my career, I've never really left it. It remains a passion of mine. The world has changed somewhat in terms of BPO, and what I've realized is that we've got to be mindful of the fact that technology might actually change jobs in BPO, where more things become automated and you need less people. So what does that mean in terms of how do people play a role in that space?
So what is driving you today?
Today, I think the knowledge that every day you wake up, you know less than yesterday. The fact that you have one life to live and there's so much to learn. And that as in the world we live, things change so rapidly,
right,
that you have to actually be on your toes continually to stay abreast of what's going on. And I think really for personal growth, it's a personal thing, I suppose. Everybody has a different need, but that's for me is just staying on top of things.
And looking at technology, Diane, what does the future of technology mean to you?
It's hugely exciting. Obviously, technology is an enabler. It enables me to be globally connected in an instant, to deliver smarter and quicker. And I think it can never obviously replace people, but we will always need people to do some part of the job. But
right,
I find the space incredibly exciting.
And what have you learned from your own journey that you consider really important for building future leaders, future technology leaders?
Like I said, people will always be at the forefront of what's important and real.
Yeah.
Technology will never replace that. Importantly, though, the learning and teaching has to start young
Right.
and with less constriction and more encouragement for innovation.
So when you speak to future leaders, what do you tell them they should focus on for building a future-proof career, if that is possible?
Stay relevant, understand that it moves quickly, and don't let anything constrict you. You need to be able to let your thoughts run and not put any constriction on that.
Now, what are the key technologies that you envisage will be driving the future?
So one thing I'm very clear about, it's very dangerous to predict the future about where tech is headed.
Right.
Having said that, I am of the opinion that voice will get bigger,
Right.
while technology is going to get smaller and faster and more selfish. It's about us. It's about me, what I want, and I want it now. Let me say that the future of technology is about apps,
Okay.
app learning. So, in your home, we have voice-activated pods already, the likes of Siri. Amazon has got Echo, and so your voice is going to become more relevant. Your thoughts will become the way that you are interpreted. So you can actually speak your thoughts and things will happen around you. What's the weather today? Is my flight on time? And so on. Robotics, already in place, and that is a fearful place for, I suppose, a lot of jobs, because it's already doing jobs of where people would have played. In the likes of recruitment, we have robotics doing a lot of what people would have done before, analyzing CVs and giving feedback, and even phoning and booking interviews, giving you the feedback on that, and so on. So we have to be aware of where that plays and what role we can play in it. The Internet of Things, and so on. We all know these things. It's nothing new. What is very relevant when we talk about apps is how and this happened just recently, I think, where a celebrity all of a sudden decided that she didn't want to be involved with Snapchat anymore.
Right.
And it literally shut down. So the fact that it is touching people in every corner of the world has to be taken into consideration. Your health monitoring, something telling you when you should be drinking water. Have you walked your steps today? This is all part of our lives already. Uber, the world's largest taxi company, owns no vehicles. This is no surprise. Facebook, the world's largest popular media, owns no content. Alibaba, the world's most valuable retailer, has no inventory. And Airbus, the world's largest accommodation provider, owns no real estate. And I think where we're going, things like banks won't be bricks and mortar. And will we have our own currency? Could we choose our own currency? We all know about cryptocurrency. So these things are frightening in a way, moving faster than potentially we can even grapple with, but it will become our lives.
Right. And when you speak to future leaders, which social media platforms do you suggest they should master?
Facebook is getting bigger.
Right.
It already has 3 billion followers. I think it's probably 3 billion plus by now. They've just launched their job portal to more than 40 countries. So I don't think we can negate the fact that Facebook is there. It has a role to play, and it connects people and businesses and things across the world. Instagram, getting bigger, very much picture-based, not so much of a story around that, but again, you're able to connect very quickly and know exactly what's happening in real time. Twitter, I think, is, in my opinion, slipped a little bit. It really is about news and can be used for that. I think it's got about, and again, my numbers are open to correction, but over 300 million followers. And, of course, LinkedIn, I think, is going to get bigger. And that's a business-to-business and person-to-person application. So those are the ones we know about. I don't see anything burgeoning at the moment, but potentially tomorrow, who knows?
Now, Diane, as a technology leader, you've been mentoring many aspiring leaders. Can you maybe share a success story or two where you mentored somebody and that person took your advice to heart?
Sure. There have been There have been a number, and maybe I won't hone in on one, but I can say that over time where I have had people in my teams, and they have actually become leaders in their own right. So I can think of one case at one of our multimedia companies where I had a temp assigned in a call center environment. That person went on to become the head of customer service.
Okay.
A fabulous story.
Right.
Many of my team employees, if you would like, went on to achieve great things, becoming leaders in their own right, joining other companies, and so on. So I'm hoping that it's a little bit of the stuff I put into their lives and one or two of the things I could have taught them. And I think a lot about the way that I go about my daily work life and maybe life in general is that there shouldn't be boundaries. I don't, and you need to view people as individuals and what they can bring to your workplace, to the thinking table, and let it fly. Don't actually put people in boxes. Don't restrict them. I think that's probably one of the greatest things.
And Diane, are there any role models of technology that you would recommend future leaders should study?
Wow. I'm not the expert there. But I mean, if you look at Apple, you look at Facebook, those guys, they didn't start out to be great. They had an idea. And maybe that's it. I think one should never start out to think that I'm going to be the best at this and I'm going to be great at that and I'm going to make a lot of money. Shuttleworth never thought that he would get where he did.
Right.
And we forget about what he did in a time where technology potentially wasn't what it is today. But he came up with an idea and he put that idea together in his garage, and where are we today? It triggered off a whole run of things that changed the way we bank.
Sure.
So we won't forget people like him, and we look at Elon Musk and what he's done. So there are lots of people we can go to and just appreciate where they started, and it was all with an idea and how they just focused on that idea. And I think focus is the main thing.
So then, where can our listeners get hold of you, and how should they connect with you?
So with pleasure, I'm on LinkedIn and easily connectable there. And of course through our company profile at Tricruit. We have a website. We are on Facebook and Twitter.
Right.
I'd love to hear from you.
And last but not least, is there one thing you would ask our listeners to take away and maybe implement in their own leadership?
Don't be afraid to employ people who could potentially do your job.
Okay.
I always look at people who are above the cut. Bring them in. Let them fly.
Well, Diane, thank you very much for sharing your insights into the future of technology. And thank you for helping us to build a better future and sharing your wisdom.
Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity.